Okay. I am Apurva Terwadkar, also known as Artman on my YouTube channel. Let's introduce ourselves around the table.
I'm Aparna from Yerra Project Society. I work as Resource Developing Manager here.
I am Pranjal Deshpande. I work in multiple roles at Yerra Project Society. Recently, we have been developing our online platform to strengthen our reach to people. So that is what I do.
Okay. So you're like the young age addition to the young sprout.
Yeah.
Any other puns based on
I don't feel the youngest because these people have a lot of experience, and with that experience they also have a lot of new ideas. So I don't think I am exactly the young ones, but I'm just good with technology. So maybe that is why people call me young.
And I must add into it that he is quite using his free time because of this COVID situation for the betterment of this organization. So it's quite fruitful time, I must say. So being an NGO person, we are also quite familiar with the technologies and using of those technologies to solve some problems facing by the community.
Yeah.
So this is good shake hand, I must say, with the upcoming generation, the person who is already into new technologies, and we are working for the people. So this is quite, I must say, a fruitful and beneficial time we are consuming together.
True. Okay, so as an introduction to our viewers and listeners who are going to watch and listen to this, you mentioned Yerra Project Society. So what is this society about, and what all projects do you usually do?
We are NGO, that is non-government organization.
Okay.
And we are Sangli based. That means since 42 years this organization is working, especially focusing on drought-prone areas. So this is, I must say, second generation. We are working in another kind of a project area. That is, we have phased out from the first one and now we are shifted to other project area. The link is drought prone. That's the same.
Okay.
And we are into rural development.
So a great example for this is our digital school. So a huge problem that we faced, let's say, about 25 years ago.
Yeah.
25 years ago, what we faced was we were not able to get good enough teachers to teach the students because of the rural area, no teacher wanted to come and stay there.
Yeah.
So
and even the area don't have potential to give good teachers.
Yeah.
Like I must say, I would like to add into it that it's not the typical school that we run there. But we want the education to be key in bringing development in that area. Then if it is so, then we must have teachers with good qualities.
That's
and
true.
Everything, it is quite difficult and challenging. So then we took the help of technology. So the digital school.
Yeah, so we started a digital school that empowers students and even teachers. So teacher being a bad teacher is not that it's not their problem, right?
Yeah.
They have not come across good teachers. That is why they are a bad teacher, if you think about it.
Yeah, that is true.
Or we can say it's limitations of the teachers.
Yeah. So we not only teach the students or encourage them to learn, we also teach teachers how to teach students. So I
Nice.
think that is, and the only way to do that is if you have the support of technology. So I was in Jalihar a couple of weeks back, and we literally saw that the teachers were using YouTube videos just to explain students what, let's say, thermodynamics is.
Okay.
And I don't think that was ever the case in my school. And I am from Sangli, so
Yeah.
Sangli is a well-off city. So yeah, I think the persona that the non-governmental organization have, that they are stuck in the past, is, I think it is changing right now.
Yeah, and that needs to be. I mean, when a person looks at you, it shouldn't be like you are bound with some definitions. It shouldn't be like that.
True.
Because you should have some qualities into the organization to change accordingly.
Yeah.
Then and then only you can help, or you can rather, I may say, support somebody to come up.
Yeah.
Otherwise you yourself have stuck in some mindsets. Then how could you give some hands to others to come up? That's the whole scenario. And for NGO, being an NGO and Yera Project Society, when we have started working in such a challenging area, a Jalihar project area, we have got so many challenges. Even reach. Now we are sitting in a Sangli, and the project area is belonging to 145 kilometers away from the place we are sitting. And we are working for them.
Yeah.
So this is quite challenging. Nobody can even imagine the NGO is working like this. And even we are grassroots. Like I must say, what is grassroots? That you must be accompanied with the community.
Yeah.
So you must be with them always. So that existence, that presence, that shows your way of grassroots level.
And so I've been really I've been working with the organization for the last 4 months now. So I can see that a lot of projects. So I've been documenting a few projects. So what makes a project good is how well you explain it to people, how much people are engaged in the project itself, right? You cannot just say that, I'm going to start a school, and you go and start a school.
True.
You want people to come to you saying that I want to start a school, and then you think what is the best way in which I can start a school, and that is how we call it need-based.
Need-based. That's what I wanted to add it. Like Yera Project have not dreamt of having digital school. We have not let's go start digital school. But what happens? The challenges, what I use the word challenges, when we think that education is only key to trigger the development in the area, then we thought it should be quality education. Then the need arises for best quality teacher.
Yeah.
And there are limitations. Then we must support teachers for better education, to give better education, or rather we call it as they have to be facilitating students to get quality education.
That's true.
Then there should be some mechanisms or some infrastructure which is supporting to the teachers, and that infrastructure is digitalization. So when we started the school, that time digitalization was quite hard. So it's again like the way it has been changing, we are changing according to the technology. So always you must know, and it is quite interesting for all the listeners and viewers, that how the NGO is changing the way people need. So it is always need based.
That is actually, like as they always say, necessity is the mother of invention.
Exactly.
So, and also one thing I liked is how you phrased it. I don't exactly remember, I'll be paraphrasing, but you mentioned that how well you explain it to somebody is how successful a project is.
Yeah.
And I find that sentiment very, very appropriate and apt, because many times it is only how well how you say marketing, basically how you market a particular idea or a brand, or basically anything at all. So for example, the smartphone company Xiaomi.
Yeah.
Now it's a Chinese smartphone company, but the one reason it got such a large user base in India is because it was cheap. Many of the parts were made in India, and more importantly, again, it was cheap.
Yeah.
And they made sure they advertised it as such. So that is why I love that particular sentence.
Yeah.
So that is really true, and that's actually really good the way you've started documenting all of this, because I'll be very honest. Before these last few days, I did not have much more idea about this entire whole project society and all, apart from the fact that my mother used to be in contact with this whole team.
Yeah.
And you used to do a lot of community development stuff. That's all I knew. But as I'm listening, I can see the larger amount of scope that you're trying to handle and grasp.
Yeah.
So that's a cool thing. And you also mentioned the digital school. So as like a simple question, how exactly, like what platform are you using to engage? YouTube itself or anything else?
So we have multiple. So let's make this clear that we the organization just does not have the school.
Okay.
That is a part of a huge initiative which comes under education. So we started about talking about technology. That is why we mentioned digital school, right? So getting back to the question, we have so it depends on the kind of teacher there is. Okay.
Yeah.
So even the government of India is providing tons of research data just to support these teachers.
Yeah.
Letting them learn and all of that. So it is upon the teacher how she or he takes it up and how he feels, he or she feels it good to teach the students.
True.
So recently...
May I interrupt?
Yeah.
Let's not go on this school.
Yeah.
When he asks you about YouTube, you go on to the platform that we are using for organizations.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it is the same.
That will be fun.
A quick transition to our YouTube. A quick transition to our YouTube channel. So as you know, not only in the school we use YouTube just to teach the students, but right now we are trying very hard to reach as many people as many we can, so that we can get the support that is needed to help the underprivileged community.
Mm-hmm.
So we have recently launched our website. It's called yeralaproject.in. We launched it on the 45th anniversary of Yerala, right?
Yeah.
We launched it then. So 45 years after the organization is there, we have finally documented all the projects there are. And one thing about the projects, even Aparna ma'am knows this, one thing about the projects is it's very hard to grasp in one look how deep the project runs.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we take let's say a school for an example, or let's say a Curiosity Center. We have a science center called Curiosity Center. So if we take that, we go again to the need-based system. So why do we need the Curiosity Center? Sorry.
Yeah.
So first we answer that question. Then how can we get the best possible? So the philosophy of the organization is to give the best possible solution to smallest of the problems. Even if it is, if people think that is that it can be neglected, the organization finds a way to let's say make the best of that problem, like solution. Sorry,
I can tell you that. See, when you talk about rural development, let everybody should understand the broader aspect of it.
Yeah.
Why Pranjal has said already that we are not only into digital school.
Yeah.
But we have to touch each and every aspect of a life of a community we are working with.
True.
So when we started working for Jalihar project area, that is also because of those people. Like some people from the Jalihar, they found us. We are working in the previous project area, Kamlapur. They were there. They saw what has been happened, and then they approached us. And they said that this is the need of you people to come to us so that we could have something good for our people. So it is again need-based. Now you can understand why it is need-based.
True.
So people themselves, they found that this organization should be there with us so that we can come up with the developing world. So with that vision, both together, like some wise people from the same community and Yerala Project Society, they come together to help these community people. Now we are working with the 22 villages around Jalihar. But when we say we are into rural development, again I am coming to the same point, then we have to look at the scenario that how they earn money, what are their problems, what are their social thinking, how they solve their problems, like thinking capacity, what are their strengths, weakness, SWOT analysis, you can say. So that has been done already with the within organization before we start working there. 2 years we involved just to understand the community and the distance, and we need to have the confidence that yes, we can work for them for their betterment. So when we had that confidence into us that we are a team, and yes, even though there is such a huge distance and no roads and no electricity and all kind of you can say barriers, communication even, because these people are Kannada spoken people. They are at the border of Karnataka every day. Like you can say Vijapur is at 35 kilometers, while the Zat, which is a block level, it is at 60 kilometers. So you can understand what is the border level living. These people are used to habitual of them.
And what happens when you live on a border is you are neither here nor there.
And that's the main cause. We are there for them.
Nobody cares about them. Not nobody, but a lot. Both the governments neglect these communities because they just push it on the next government, saying
like responsibility shoving.
Because they have their day-to-day give and take with the Karnataka people, and they are belonging to Maharashtra. The state government is 145 kilometers away. That is quite a remote thing. So this is all the scenario that we have learnt. And then the problem is drought situation. Agriculture is only income source. That is also rainwater, which is the only source of you can say water source for those people to get agriculture developed. And then they have illiteracy always, health issues, and they have to solve the family income, or say bread of a family. They have to earn the bread of a family by migrating as a sugarcane cutting labor for the rest of the district, because they have lots of sugarcane in the other part of the district, where they migrate for 6 months. And everything is hazardous for the community to be developed.
Wow. So like even in 2020 we are still facing the problems of 2000.
We were there. We were there before that. We studied, and then we started working on 1998, and then there onwards, now we can see we are there since 22 years, and we have some fruits in our hands, which shows that yes, we have did something, or we were there for them, and we can visualize some change. Those are quite fruitful.
It's actually quite sad though, like if we think about it, even though there are many people trying, as well as your organization, everybody's trying so hard to get all of these places at least to the bottom standard of where the other society is, but it's still so far away because we have to try so much, and at the end of the day our efforts are isolated. Not a lot of people put a lot of inputs into it, and those that do go neglected because of the fact that it is an isolated kind of campaign. So that is for me very sad, because I've seen a lot of people do a lot of different things for various places.
What do you think? So when you say it is sad, is it just... So how do you define sad is my question. Because when I think about Jallianwala, I don't feel sad at all. I honestly feel happy. Even Aparna ma'am must feel the same thing.
I was about to add this thing, because what you have felt right now, that was the situation.
That is also true.
Now it's quite changing and quite promising one.
So how do you say, like, when you think about it, that will be an honest question, right? How do you draw positivity out of a situation which is entirely negative?
True.
So how do you say that, why do you feel that it is negative, apart from that it is neglected?
I'd say it's like a general feeling I have, because obviously the work you've done there, that is something like, and especially the podcast and all, and also the radio work that you do there to like inform them what is going on and all of that. But when it comes to, as I mentioned, the sadness that I feel, it's mostly because as I said, it's an isolated thing. Not a lot, even the people who are trying to do something, that is still only for specific places. There are still loads of places where people like us are needed.
Yeah.
And it is still like we can't go everywhere.
Yeah.
And we still lack that omnipresence, unfortunately, because of which that's what brings that whole like sadness feeling. Like we can't go everywhere, and at the same time we're doing so much for this one place, and all of that. But then nobody really appreciates the efforts that people are doing.
Exactly, and why we are doing this podcast is the thing that, as you said, you have so much of potential or energy which you want to utilize for such people, but you don't know that where are they.
Exactly.
True.
So why we need this technology is to reach out those who wants to do something for such people to the such people. That's the link. So this platform. Otherwise, we NGO, if he may have gone to abroad for his future career, and maybe this COVID situation will not be there, then we were not doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, it's not our idea. But even though we know that there should be a link, but what happens, being an NGO person, in our day-to-day schedule, we cannot give so much of attention into such kind of social media.
True.
Because we have to put our energy and our potential, and we think that each and every second should be utilized for those people.
Yeah.
And as you have heard those challenges, we are into it always with those people.
And that is very important, right? Whenever you think about solving a problem, you don't think about just going there and doing it.
Yeah.
You have to be involved with those people. You have to be feeling for those people. That is very important. And that is how you come up with solutions. You find out problems that they are not willing to have. Initially, when I used to listen to my dad talk about all of this, people did not open up at all. People did not, if there is some kind of problem at their house, they won't come to the organization and tell, because they felt, a kind of a guilt or something. They felt that the organization was some outsider. But after 22 years, now when I visit there, or even my dad visits there, you can see how open the society is to us. How open they are to the problems, how logical they have become to the problems that they used to face day to day.
That is also just because of, you can say, the faith that we have earned by working with these people. Even though if you go to the adjacent villages, or you can say such villages where Viera Project Society will not be existing, or those people will not know us, then they will also say, who are these people? I mean, why should I talk about my problems with them? They are stranger to me.
True.
It's the same. But when you start being with them
and getting involved,
getting
involved is very important.
And secondly, when you get the solutions, it shouldn't be like something coming from out of the moon.
Yeah.
Like something which is unimaginary totally for those people, then they will run away.
That is true.
Yeah, so what we need to do is we need to understand the way they think, the way they may have solved the problem. What is the strength of their own? Like suppose, I will give one example. Suppose a widow comes to me and she is at the age of say 40, 45. Then looking at her, I must have understand that she is not so educated, even not seen the school. Then if I want to ask her to earn something for your betterment, like we have some projects for the destitute women, which may help them to earn money, and they can have their own, you can say, rights to utilize those money. So some income generating activities, you can say, which empowers them to take some decisions. Then if I ask her to join electronic unit and get trained there, she will not come to me again. Then what I will do is I'll ask her, if you are good with the poultry, with the goat, now you can imagine she has been brought up in such a family where she have been going with the goats and with poultry since her childhood.
True.
So that is not something new for her. Yeah, we gave them something new, but in the same scenario, like if she is good with the poultry, local birds, we give something improved into it. We give some training with the same poultry, which will be giving her some good income and benefit out of it. So then she will get empowered. Yes, what I have the knowledge is the best, and now I have improved in the same knowledge. That will build the confidence of that lady, and then she will come up to me again saying that my daughter may get education into good school. Can I have that education? Where should I go? If I want that opportunity to be kept with me and with her, then there should be situation that I must understand where she is from which situation she must have come to me, and then I have to approach with the same, you can say, thinking while talking to her.
So this is the amount of involvement you need.
Yeah.
It is not everything is not just black and white. There's a lot of gray area in between, and you have to understand the nuances that come with a request.
True.
And you cannot just say that, yeah, I know this works and I'll make it work. That does not work.
No.
Because you have to understand you're working with people, you're not working with robots.
That is true.
So
and secondly, you are not government agencies. I must say that. Government agencies, why? I am not against them. But why? Because they have the scheme, they need the people.
Yeah.
And they're bridging the gaps. But it shouldn't be. Because we have only this scheme, I can give you this and you have to do it. It will not work. So then if we feel that this scheme is not suitable for these women, then we will have to identify such amount of women. How many of those which are not fitting into electronic unit, let's say, then may have some other project for them which has been designed, and then maybe we are going to ask donors to support us. This is need based.
And this is the whole reason why all of this platform and outreach is going on, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to explain to people that this is how it should be done. This amount of involvement is the only way to solve hard problems. And hard problems are the ones to be solved, right? If you don't get involved in these problems, there's no way. And when Aparna ma'am says that we are looking for donations, I have made a few donations, and I have seen giving money is the easiest way.
True.
It is, when you think about it, because the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes is incredible, and people are working day and night just to make these people happy. So we have one more project called 1 million plantation, so in which we are trying to plant 1 million trees in the 5 years.
Okay.
In 5 years. So we have already completed 2.5 years, right?
Yeah, 2 years.
So 2.5 years. So from this project, so I have been aware of this project since the project started. So I have seen people grow. I've seen people take responsibility, and even when I go there, people see that this is my tree, this is my area, this is mine, and that is why they take care. And the organization does not want them to say, yeah, this is Yerala's plant, that is why I'm taking care. The organization wants that.
Yeah.
They want the people to think that it is theirs and develop it like it is, right? So all of this outreach program, all of this is just to make people understand that the amount of involvement that we have with the people, and how important it is, how rare it is, to be honest.
And this is the complete ownership of a community, I must say. Each and every project is designed along with them, taking them into confidence. Like the problem comes from them when we discuss.
And these discussions are crucial for these.
Very important.
Yeah. And whenever, even if so on our website, so most of my knowledge comes from building the website, because that was the most I was involved in the organization. So on the website, a part of the outreach program is this podcast. So we call it the Yerala Vani podcast. So in this podcast, we are trying to we are trying to show people the involvement that goes on behind the scenes. Firstly, secondly, showcase our projects, and we are trying to get people involved in the projects with us. Involvement does not mean just giving money. Just to be frank,
that's true.
It means that you come here, you work with us, you work for the society, you come here and you do what you do good. If you are the best electronics person on the planet, then we have a place for you. And if you are the best sweeper on the planet, we have a place for you. So we want people to just come to us and talk to us about these problems, and we definitely can find a place for them.
Everybody, those who are willing to work, they are always welcome, and we find a good place for them, and they have their opportunity also. It's good shake hand, I must say. It's not like somebody who is good into something is going to give something. It's always they are getting something written back also. So that is good shake hand, I must say, because these people with whom we are working, they also have some kind of wisdom which the other part may have not having that. So it's quite exchanging of knowledge which is beneficial for both of them. So it's always good to have such a platform with the idea of Pranjal, and just to come up with the concept that we are working on. So through this podcast, we are showcasing our way of thinking, way of designing the projects, and with whom we are doing this. So I must say that this is very important for the viewers, those who are interested, not only interested into social work, but also interested to involve to find the application of their knowledge. That is also important. Secondly, those who are already into NGOs, they may find some path in such a way. So there are many utilization, you must say, whatever knowledge the organization have itself through this kind of work since 42 years have to be showcased. I don't know how it has been beneficial, or it's not just for us but for everybody. So we want to, you can say, potentially use this COVID's lockdown situation or containment, whatever, restricted zone to be utilized in more potentially. So we are using this technology for showcasing globally whatever we are doing and to come up with good ideas.
That's actually a great step forward. Like using what we have to just, like, even if it's a ripple in the ocean, that's something that will satisfy us, as long as we are making sure that ripple is made by us. That's a great sentiment, I believe.
And it is a great way to bring this podcast to the end, and we can maybe we'll get a few people who are seniors in the organization, and then the next podcast can be something more productive, something more we can go in depth on some projects and how the selection of the projects works, and
that would be very good. Like, I'd really love to listen to like, in fact, the 1 million trees idea plus the Curiosity Center. That is something I heard about before a few days back, and I want to know what this whole thing is about. So I'd love to see that. So I'm looking forward to the next podcast.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah.
Thank you so much.